Hey, what is up guys? Today we're back in Fallout 4, checking out another settlement build. This time around we're back in our Raider settlement, taking a look at a weapon mod shop that goes by the name of the Portside Supply, and I'll explain that a bit more later on in the video. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and take a closer look. So as you may have noticed, this build takes place up on the second floor of what used to be just a clinic, and eventually I do plan on having this being a full 4-story building, but we'll save that for a later date. Now I must admit these settlement builds aren't as exciting as they used to be. I think the main reason for that is because there's not really much left to do out here in the wasteland. It's not that there isn't anything left for me to build, but at least on this character, I've played just about every quest that I know of, so it's not like I'm coming back here when I'm not building to do things like manage the settlement or just kick back and relax, you know? But luckily there is that transfer settlement mod, so that has helped a little bit for some of the finished settlements, because then you can use those on a new game that you may have started. But yeah, enough of me rambling on about that. Let's go ahead and check out the inside. So first off, the main reason I went with the Portside Supply for the name is because I kinda tried theming this like a pirate ship in a way. As you can see, we have the sort of makeshift cannons off on the left. And obviously these wouldn't be functional, but they're just kind of a neat little detail or decoration. And at least with the mods I have, there are actual cannons you can use, but seeing as how this is a weapon mod shop, I thought this was a bit more fitting and a little more creative. Also out here, if you just walk over through the one open area, there's a little shooting range for people to strap on some mods and then just kind of fire off in the distance, since at least as of now, there isn't really anything over there. So I figured it wouldn't be too dangerous. But out here we just have some guns and bullets magazines, various weapon parts, and just some spare random weapons out here that people could try out if they wanted. And in terms of the rest of the build, we have lots of things on display and a few workbenches for people to use. Now I didn't really ever care too much for the default ones, so I tried making my own out of just random tables, and I think this fits the Raider style a bit better as well. So we've got random bins of weapons just kind of thrown out everywhere, along with lots and lots of spare parts out on the tables, and then like I said, plenty of weapons and other things on display all across the walls. And so this area is mainly the long-range weapons. And then way over here in the back, we have a small section for some of the melee type stuff. So here's a little bin of smaller melee weapons. There's also some larger ones, such as the ones in this little bin. I think that used to be an umbrella container. Then there's also the spiked bat. And I tried making a neat little setup right here by throwing down some comic books and then some kind of weapon that looks like it may have come from those. Say, for instance, a raider was really interested in Grognak the Barbarian and saw some creature in the comics with a crazy ass claw like that. Maybe he tried to replicate it somehow. And so that's what this is. And then over on the back side, there's also this really crazy crafting bench that is somewhat similar to that first one you saw in some of the initial trailers. And no, I did not make this thing, that would be insane. This is from some mod. Can't remember the name for the life of me, but it is still pretty cool, nonetheless. And then also to go along with the pirate theme, there's that little skull and crossbone flag on the back, although instead of being skull and crossbones, it's obviously the Brotherhood of Steel helmet and 2 laser rifles. Now that's not to say this place belongs to the Brotherhood of Steel. By no means is that the case. So in a way, maybe it doesn't make too much sense, but then again, I have seen plenty of raiders and gunners out there who do use power armor and the occasional energy weapon from time to time. Also, you may have seen I threw down a few of these floor lights everywhere to kind of illuminate the various displays. I will admit they do look a bit odd, but just for those wondering, if you try and use the ceiling ones instead, it will drastically affect the lighting. So you're not going to end up with these very cool greens and purples, but instead you'll have just a lot of fleshed out white. And for some of you that may be okay, but for me it just wasn't all that appealing. But anyways, moving on, this here is the front desk. Once again, we have quite a bit more detail, some ammo people can buy, either to bring along with them if they're going out and raiding, or just to use on the shooting range. Now, for the rest of this, it may be better if we actually head inside there, so give me a minute and I'll walk around the back door. So this area in the back is where the cashier would work, and although it's not all that visible from the main area, I did still try adding in a fair amount of decorations. So on the back wall we have even more modded weapons on display, some more guns and bullets magazines, papers and caps on the front desk, which most likely came from a recent purchase, and then just some other stuff like the Deathclaw head to give this place a bit more of a raider look, and last but not least, the safe. But anyways guys, I think it's safe to say that that will do it for today. I do want to apologize because it seems like it has been forever since our last settlement build, and I know a lot of you are here just for these, but like I brought up earlier, it is for good reason. I know it sucks, but personally, these really just are not as exciting if I'm being honest, and I really wish they were. But for me, a big part of the settlement building was being able to come back to the settlement after a mission and actually do stuff there. And as of now, that's just not really possible because there's no missions left other than Preston's. And I'm sure you all know how dull those can get. Either way, though, I'm sure eventually I'll really want to get back into these, and who knows, maybe some new really cool mods will come out that just make building that much better. And don't worry, these definitely aren't done. I'm gonna keep doing them, hopefully more than we've been doing these past few weeks. But yeah, once again, I'm rambling on, so thanks for watching, and thanks for everyone who's stuck around for this long. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you want, feel free to let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and as always, I will see you in the next one.